Book of Heaven, Volume 29, May 10th, 1931. One who wants to receive must give. Ways that Jesus has, the divine gifts, bearers of peace. How the divine will has the fermenting virtue. What good a fulfilled act of divine will encloses. I am always in the dear inheritance of the divine will. Wherever I turn my mind, my step, I find it as ruling queen, who with her sweet empire wants to reign over my poor soul, and with the most eloquent, gentle, and powerful voice, says to me, swooning with love, such as to be able to convert the whole entire world into fire.
As queen, I await you in each of my works, that you may come to form and extend your little divine kingdom in my own works. Look at me, I am queen, and one who is queen has the power to give to her children whatever she wants. More so, since my kingdom is universal, my power is without limits. And as queen, I love to not be alone in my kingdom, but I want the cortege, the company of my children, and to share with them my universal empire. Therefore, let your way be my works, which like many signs will direct you to making many encounters with your celestial queen, who awaits you to give you her gifts as the sure pledge of her kingdom.
Then, while my mind was wandering in the immense light of the divine will, my always lovable Jesus told me,
My daughter, one who wants to receive must give. Giving disposes the creature to receive, and God to give. Many times also your Jesus has this way. When I want something from the creature, I give, and if I want great sacrifices, I give much, so that in looking at the much I have given, she will feel ashamed and will not have the courage to deny me the sacrifice I ask of her. To give is to almost bind the person who receives. It is to draw his attention, his love. To give is to appreciate. To give is hope. To give is to make the memory of the giver arise in the heart. And how many times people who did not know each other become friends by means of a gift? Now, in the divine order, the giver is always God, who acts as first in sending his gifts to the creature. But if she does not move to give something to her Creator, be it even her little love, her gratitude, a small sacrifice, because if we gave, it was because we wanted. No more gifts are sent by us, because by not giving us anything, she has closed the correspondence and has broken the beautiful friendship which our gift was to make arise. Now, my daughter, to give and to receive are first and indispensable acts, which in clear notes indicate that we love the creature and that she loves us. But this is not enough. One must know how to receive by converting the good received into one's nature, by eating it and masticating it thoroughly, in such a way as to convert the gift into the soul's blood. This is our purpose in giving our gifts, wanting to see the gift we gave converted into her nature, because then are our gifts not in danger, and we dispose ourselves to give greater gifts. And the creature, having converted it into her nature, places our gift in safety, becomes the possessor of it, and will feel within herself the good, the fount, and the good received converted into her nature. And since our gifts are bearers of peace, of happiness, of invincible strength, of celestial air, she will feel within herself the nature of peace, of happiness, of divine strength, which will form in her the air of heaven. This is the reason why, when I give you the great gift of my word, then I remain silent. It is because I am waiting for you to nourish yourself and masticate my word well, in such a way as to see in you, changed into your nature, that which I have told you. And when I see this, then I feel the irresistible need of love to speak to you again, because one gift of mine calls for another, nor can they remain alone, and I have always something to give, always something to say and to do, with one who converts my gifts into her nature.
After this, I was thinking about the divine will, how it seemed difficult to me that its kingdom might come, and my beloved Jesus added,
My daughter, just as the yeast has the virtue of fermenting the bread, so is my will the fermentator of the acts of the creature. As she calls my divine will into her acts, they remain fermented by it, and form the bread of the kingdom of my will. Now, in order to make much bread, the yeast is not enough, but it takes much flour. It takes someone who must do these acts of uniting flour and yeast. It takes water, bond of union, to be able to knead flour and yeast, so that the yeast may communicate the fermenting virtue, and the flour may receive it. Then it takes the fire to cook this bread, to form it as nourishing and digestible bread. Now, does it not take more time, more acts to form it, rather than to eat it? The sacrifice is in forming it. As for eating it, it is done quickly, and one feels the taste of the sacrifice. So, my daughter, the yeast of my divine fiat, which has only the virtue of fermenting your acts, emptying them of the human will in order to convert them into bread of divine will, is not enough, but it takes a continuation of acts, of sacrifices, and for a long time in such a way that my will, with its fermenting virtue, will ferment all these acts so as to form much bread and keep it prepared and in store for the children of its kingdom. When everything will be formed, what is left is to dispose the events, and this is easier and is done quickly because it is in our power to move the secondary causes in order to do what we want. Did I not do likewise for redemption? My long 30 years of my hidden life were like the yeast in which all my acts were fermented, to form and ferment the great good of redemption. The short life of my public life and my passion was my fermented bread, that my divine will formed and fermented in my acts, which, like bread, I broke for all and gave to eat, so that all might receive the bread of the redeemed ones, to acquire the necessary strengths to put themselves in safety. Therefore, give yourself no concern. Think of doing your duty, and letting not one of your acts escape in which you do not put the yeast of my divine will, so that your being may remain fermented by it, and I will think of all the rest.
Then I continued thinking, but what does Jesus get from this poor state of mine? And why does he have so much interest that I fall into my usual sufferings, with so much trouble and bother that he causes me to give to others, such that I could call this my martyrdom? Oh, how hard it is having to deal with creatures, feeling the need of them out of pure necessity. This humiliates me so much that I remain as though annihilated in my own nothingness. While I was thinking of this and other things, my sweet Jesus told me,
My daughter, do you want to know what I get? My divine will fulfilled, and this is everything for me. One fulfilled act of mine, of my will, encloses all the heavens, the sun, the earth, and even myself. There is no love which I do not find, goods which it does not possess, glory which it does not give me. Everything remains centralized in one fulfilled act of my will. And the happy creature that fulfills it can say to me, I have given you everything, even yourself. I have nothing more to give you. In fact, my divine will encloses everything. There is not one thing or good that might escape it. Therefore, by fulfilling it in what I want, the creature finds that which my will is in itself. And I can say, by giving you the grace of letting you do a fulfilled act of it, I gave you everything. Even more, by fulfilling it, my pains rise. My steps, my words, my works are doubled and put themselves in motion to give themselves to creatures, because my divine will, operating also in the creature, puts all our works in motion to make them rise to new life. And you tell me, what do I get? My daughter, think of doing it, and make it so that your life may be a continued act of my will.
Fiat.